How you guys doing? This is Josh here with Ohio Fish Rescue. You guys have heard us talk about it in many videos, but it's just about time. I've got enough things cleared out against this wall that we're gonna go ahead and start setting up the first tank. So first in line is this 400-gallon tank. And this video is gonna show you guys how we set up a tank this big from start to finish.
This is Ohio Fish Rescue.
Perfect.
What the
So looking at this tank, this is a 400-gallon acrylic aquarium. It's 6'6" long. It's 2 foot from front to back and 4 foot tall. It does have a bullnose corner to it, so it is made to wrap around a corner of some sort. But for our purpose, we're gonna use it as the African cichlid tank. We're gonna do the whole back with lace rock, and they're gonna have different caves all the way up and be able to inhabit the whole column of water. So for starters, I went ahead and moved this tank over 12 inches. And you can see it's, 4 inches away from this tank. So just in case I need to move this 550, there is enough room so I can do that. So for starters, I'm going to go ahead and get this tank off the rollers so I can start leveling this tank. Alright guys, with the help from a few friends, got this 400-gallon tank off the rollers. We had 1 and 2. You can see it's been sitting there for quite some time. Made an impression on the rollers. But now we can go ahead and push this tank up against the wall. We've got a pretty big gap back there. Now, for the next part, you guys are going to want a level and some composite shims. You can get these guys from Home Depot. That they are black composite shims, meaning they are plastic. They will not crush, and if they happen to get wet, they will not swell and cause you any problems. I use them for pretty much everything. I leveled this 2,200-gallon tank with composite shims. They work miraculously. So I'm going to go ahead and get this tank lined up and go ahead and level this thing. And well, as you guys can see, without doing any leveling whatsoever, the tank is pretty much right on par with side to side. The only thing I have to take care of is front to back. As you can see, the tank kind of rocks just a little bit. That's not too good, so we'll go ahead and get this level on side to side and get this shimmed up and ready to go. Okay, the tank is all shimmed. As you can see, I have one about every foot or so. And I have both the front and the back shim. So this back corner and this whole right side pretty much, or this whole front side needed shimmed a little bit. Now when you grab the tank, it doesn't move on you. And I think we're just about ready for water. So one thing I ran into, as you can see, there is a plug on the wall right there. Just so happened the guy before cut a hole in the wall. I tried matching it up perfectly, but it just did not work out for us. So I'm going to have to cut this hole open just a little bit. And you can see right there, there's another plug. So I'm going to have to mark that one out and get that hole plugged. But I brought the multi-tool out, so I'm just going to mark these and get these guys cut real quick. Okay, as promised, you can see I cut out for the plugs there. And the plugs over here, these are 2 separate circuits. Our original plan was to have all the pumps running off this 4-gang box here because we had a big issue with plugs tripping out here. So this is on the same run as the rest of these plugs down the wall. And this 4-gang box has its own circuit. So I'm going to put all the heavy loads onto this circuit and use this for just like lighting and whatnot. But the plugs are accessible through the stand of the tank. Now it's time to get some water in here and see how she holds. Alright guys, the tank is filled just a little bit more than a third of the way. I'm going to go ahead and let this sit overnight just to make sure no leaking happens because I don't exactly trust this tank. It's been sitting dry for quite some time. I never seen it filled with water in person, and it looks a little bit sketchy to me. So I always test tanks that I don't 100% trust, and I have to go up tomorrow and buy 3 brand new bulkheads so I can get the overflow's capped off, and plumb it in so I can plumb it into the system, of course. And we're going to go ahead and let this sit overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish this up. Alrighty, it's been sitting overnight. Absolutely no leaks whatsoever. So now it's time to go ahead and drain this down a little bit and start putting it in the rock. You see, we've got this multicolored rock here, and then I've got about 3 tubs of this lace rock. I'm going to go ahead and line the whole back wall with the lace rock so it can give the cichlids little different caves and caverns to swim in and out of and breed in. So let me go ahead and start draining this and start putting this rock in. Tank is almost drained. I went down and got a 4-foot LED light strip, so this is going to light this tank up pretty nice. I went out and found some more of our saltwater decorations. So I am going to decorate this sort of a saltwater theme, have sand on the bottom, the white argonite sand, and have just a column of colorful fish to make it look like it's a saltwater setup, which I think would look really neat with this bullnose and just the shape the tank is. Just carried another tub of rocks in. As you guys can see, they're kind of shelf rock, type of lace rock, but I do have 2 more big totes of these outside if we happen to need it. But I'm going to go ahead and fill it up with these and see where we're at. Alright guys, the first layer of rock is done. As you can see, I put this, I'm not even going to try and call these things out, but they're just saltwater decoration. I put this pillar in the corner. I locked the rocks in place. I also propped it up from underneath, locked it on the left side. Put this decoration in there, and I locked both of these in. Then we got some things over here in the corner. Now don't mind, it was a bit steamy in there. I didn't even wipe off the glass either, so it's a bit dirty. Now I'm going to try and build the wall up on the rock up on the back wall, and we'll see where we get. Alright guys, I think I'm done with putting in rock here. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a look-see on what's going on here. I tried making as many caves as possible so the fish can hide and breed. As you can see, I did different features. Like I did this coral piece, that coral piece, this big bell horn. Built up some rocks on the back side so this cool little rock here could sit it up top. And then we've got a few oddballs here. Got a few plug-and plays in there just sitting on the bottom. But now I'm thinking we need some sand. So I have my dad go over and look, see what we had. And he brings me over this black Aquarium sand. This is some of the stuff we got from Petco in one of our previous videos. So I'm going to go ahead and bring a little bit more of this up and see if we can get this in here and see how nice it looks. Alright guys, after pouring in a couple bags of this National Geographic black sand, I think it's turning out pretty nice. It makes the coral colors pop. You've got blues, you've got reds, you've got white. We've got green and yellow. We've got some orange rock over here. We've got all different sorts of variety. If this was a saltwater tank, I think this would look beautiful. But we're not quite there yet. We don't really do saltwater here at the rescue. We do take them in and we find them homes. We have a lot of friends who have big saltwater tanks, so we're capable of rehoming them and finding them homes. But here at the rescue, there's not really a need for us to have big saltwater tanks, but man, does this look beautiful. We're going to go ahead and fill this up with water now and get this tank cleaned up, clean all the dirt off the glass inside and out, and this tank should just shine. Okay, the tank's almost full. You guys can already see a 100% difference. That's not even wiping the tank down, that's just water being in it. So just imagine what this thing's going to look like once I polish it up and actually do a full-fledged cleaning on it. I do like the black sand with the colored coral. Has a nice contrast to it. And I kind of do like this bullhead corner. I don't know, the more that this tank gets filled, the more that I'm liking it, guys. Alright everyone, this is as full as I'm going to make the tank for now. So if I put it any higher, it's going to start going in the overflow. And I want to get this plumbed in so I can hook up to drain and put it on our system. But for tonight, I'm just going to go ahead and hook up one of these filter socks so I can filter out any of the debris in the water, because I don't want that milky water going into our system at all. Of course, we have all the dirt from the sand. We have all the dirt on all these pieces of, used to be live rock, now it's just dry rock. But there was calcium all over this tank. There was sand, just a bunch of dirt that we don't want in our tanks or our water. So we're using 100 micron filter socks and a pump overnight to clear it out. Who knows, might even come out in the morning, drain it and refill it for safe measure. But we'll go ahead and get this hooked up real quick. Alright, so as you can see, I've got a little power head hooked up to a hose coming over into our filter sock. So that's going to clear up all this debris in the water. And by morning this should be crystal clear. And tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and do the plumbing on the bottom side of the tank. So our next step for moving forward, I'm going to run up to Home Depot and get some sort of decorative trim, maybe some sort of fake stone facade or paneling, something like that. Cover up the stand, make this tied in with the rest of the room, because you know we've got black stands, we've got nice wood, we've got wood over there. So we just want to make this look nice and blend in with the rest of the fish room. But coming to an end of this video, this is how OFR sets up their tanks. Remember, you always test fill a tank that you do not trust. This came from us from, what was that, West Virginia, and it sat empty for about a year. So we weren't sure on the seals on this tank. So you always test fill, and you always make sure that the seals hold before you go ahead and put any water in inside. Maybe you put it in your living room. You don't want this thing busting everywhere, getting your carpet wet. That's just not a good time. So you always want to check that. Then once you're satisfied, then you can go ahead and start scaping your tank. In this case, you can see the job that we did. Now this is something that we just threw together. Didn't take a lot of time at all. This is just random stuff we had laying around that we thought would tie this tank together. Now, this might change in the future, but for today, it'll do. Now, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And what's the last part, Dad?
Hit the notification bell. You'll be notified every time we upload a video.